There comes a moment in life when the noise begins to fade. The phone that once rang every day now sits silent for hours. The dinner invitations that used to come every weekend have stopped arriving. The friends who promised they'd always be there somehow aren't. And in this sudden stillness, a heavy thought creeps in. Have I been forgotten? Am I alone? If you've ever felt this way, if you've ever stared at the quiet walls of your home and wondered where everyone went, this video is for you. But let me say this clearly. Just because you're alone doesn't mean you are lonely. And more importantly, just because you don't have friends at this age doesn't mean you need them. In fact, for many people over 70, letting go of friendships is the very thing that brings peace. Not because people are bad, not because you stopped caring, but because you've changed, and because you've earned the right to live on your terms, free from expectations, drama, and disappointment. You're about to discover 6 powerful reasons why embracing independence after 70 can make you happier than you've ever been. Not lonelier, not bitter, but more content, more calm, more centered. And before we begin, I want you to do something important. If you're watching this and thinking, that's me, please click subscribe and hit the bell icon. This channel is a place of truth, dignity, and real talk for people over 60. Not fluff, not pity, just wisdom from one soul to another. So let's begin. You've lived through decades of friendships, the good ones, the painful ones, and everything in between. Now, let's talk about why stepping into solitude might just be the most empowering thing you do in your 70s. And we'll start with the first reason that changes everything once you finally accept it. By the time you reach your 70s, your story is no longer one chapter. It's a full book, filled with love, loss, sacrifice, triumph, and perhaps betrayal. And some of the people in your life, the ones you once called friends, they've changed. Or maybe you have. But either way, the connection that once felt solid now feels hollow. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Not every friend is meant to last forever. Some friendships were built on proximity, neighbors, coworkers, church groups. But when the job ends, the kids move away, or Sunday service becomes too much of a burden, so do those friendships. And that's okay. You are not obligated to carry the weight of history. Just because someone has known you for years doesn't mean they understand who you are today. Just because they were there for your wedding doesn't mean they're right for your twilight years. And just because you once shared everything doesn't mean you still share values, peace, or mutual respect. After 70, you begin to realize something liberating. You can love who they were without keeping them in your present. If talking to them leaves you drained, confused, or worse, hurt, then the price of keeping the friendship may be far too high for what little it brings you. There's a kind of freedom in walking away, not out of anger, but out of clarity. You are not being selfish. You are protecting your energy. And at this stage in life, energy is precious. Tell me this. When was the last time you left a conversation with one of these old friends feeling lighter? When was the last time you felt seen, really seen, by someone from your past? If the answer is rarely or never, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to stop reaching back and start reaching inward. Your time now is too sacred for conversations that feel forced or relationships that live in memory rather than reality. And if any of this resonates with you, if you felt the guilt of distancing yourself from people who no longer feel like home, leave a comment below and share your story. There are thousands of others who felt the same, and your voice might be the one that helps them feel less alone. We're only getting started, because next, we'll talk about how solitude can be more honest than any friendship you've ever had. Stay with me. There's a kind of silence that doesn't feel empty, it feels sacred. A kind of stillness that doesn't signal loneliness, but presence. When you're alone in your 70s, you begin to hear something that decades of noise once drowned out. Yourself. Your real self. Not the one shaped by what others expected. Not the one who stayed quiet to keep the peace. Not the one who tolerated toxic conversations just to be nice. No, the self you silenced for years, finally speaks. And here's the thing. Most friendships, even the ones that lasted years, come with a kind of performance. You show up the way they remember you. You laugh at the same old stories. You avoid certain topics, opinions, or truths because you know they won't get it. That's not connection. That's routine. That's history pretending to be harmony. But when you spend time with yourself, especially after 70, you stop pretending. You start asking deeper questions. What do I really think? What do I truly want? What matters to me? Now, not 30 years ago. And unlike most friendships, solitude doesn't lie to you. It doesn't gossip. It doesn't guilt trip. It doesn't compete. It just sits beside you like a quiet companion, saying, I'm here. I see you. I don't need you to be anyone else. That's something few friendships ever offer. Complete, unconditional space to be real. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first. We were raised to believe that being alone means we're failing at life. But what if that belief is wrong? What if the very thing you've been avoiding, the long afternoons, the solo meals, the evenings without small talk, is exactly what your spirit has been needing? Take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you felt fully at peace in the company of another person? Not drained, not on edge, not performing. If it's been too long to remember, then maybe solitude isn't your enemy. Maybe it's your sanctuary. And if you're still watching, thank you. That tells me you're not afraid to hear the hard truths. You're not afraid to look in the mirror and say, I deserve peace more than I deserve company. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe. This channel is your space, a place where we honor quiet truths, deep wisdom, and the power of aging with grace. Click that button. Stick around. Let's grow through this together. In the next part, we'll talk about the emotional cost of maintaining the wrong friendships and why it's a debt you no longer have to pay. Not all friendships are nourishing. Some are draining. And after 70, the emotional debt from maintaining the wrong ones becomes heavier than ever because your energy is no longer unlimited. You've likely been the peacemaker for years. You've tolerated passive-aggressive comments. You've forgiven forgetfulness that felt like neglect. You've listened more than you were heard. And maybe you kept giving because that's who you are. But here's the harsh truth. Not everyone who claims to be your friend actually values you. Some people stick around out of convenience, others out of habit, and some simply out of guilt. Their presence isn't a gift. It's a weight, a pressure to return calls, to pretend you're fine, to meet up when your body aches, to laugh when your heart is heavy. That kind of effort, that kind of masking, it's a tax. And it's paid in your emotional health. There's a cost to these so-called friendships. Sleepless nights after a toxic interaction. That pit in your stomach after being dismissed or talked over. The confusion of wondering, was it me? The fatigue of giving without receiving. At this stage in life, peace is non-negotiable. You've earned the right to protect it fiercely. Friendships should not feel like chores. They should not come with shame, tension, or fear. And they should never make you question your worth. Yet, many older adults cling to relationships that expired long ago. Afraid of being alone, afraid of being judged, afraid of seeming cold. But let me ask you this. Is it cold to choose peace over performance? Is it selfish to stop setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm? Of course not. If someone makes you feel less, if someone's words linger like wounds, if someone only calls when they need something, then it's okay to let go, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Say it out loud if you need to. I am no longer available for connections that cost me my peace. And you'll find, in that space, that wide, open emotional space, you can breathe again. You can listen to music without the weight of their opinions. You can take a walk without rehearsing conversations in your head. You can finally rest, not just your body, but your soul. And if you've ever felt this, if you've ever walked away from someone and felt relief instead of sadness, drop a comment below. Your experience matters. Your voice reminds others that protecting your spirit is not weakness, it is wisdom. Don't forget to tap the bell icon if this message speaks to you. We release videos that respect your age, your truth, and your right to live freely. No drama, no judgment, just real talk for real lives. Coming up next, we'll explore how independence after 70 opens up a kind of freedom you didn't know you were missing, and why living for yourself might be the greatest joy of all. For most of your life, independence was a means to an end. You worked so you could support others. You stayed strong so others could lean on you. You made sacrifices, small and large, to keep everyone else afloat. Now, the world is quieter. Fewer people call. No one depends on you the way they once did. And in that silence, many people feel sadness. They say, I have no one left to care for. Or worse, no one needs me anymore. But what if that's not a loss? What if that's a gift? What if this is your chance to be fully yours, maybe for the first time in decades? When you were younger, independence came with obligations. Now, it comes with options. You don't have to explain why you're not attending the family dinner. You don't have to justify why you didn't return someone's call. You don't owe anyone your time, unless you choose to give it. That's not loneliness. That's sovereignty. And here's the truth many don't want to admit. Freedom can feel scary at first, because you've forgotten what it's like to live just for you. To wake up without guilt. To spend a whole day in your own rhythm. To follow your own curiosity, whether it's gardening, painting, walking, reading, or doing absolutely nothing. This chapter isn't about proving your usefulness. It's about honoring your essence, your softness, your slowness, your right to rest without apology. Let go of the belief that you are only valuable when someone else needs you. That's the lie society told you. That your worth was in what you could give, fix, carry. But now, you are not a role. You are not mom. You are not provider. You are not caretaker. You are you, whole, worthy, and wonderfully free. And if that freedom means you have fewer friends, fewer commitments, fewer expectations, then maybe that's not emptiness. Maybe that's space. Space to finally exhale, to listen to your body, to trust your heart, to live for joy, not duty. Let me ask you something gently. When was the last time you made a decision, big or small, just for you, without consulting anyone else, without seeking permission? If you can't remember, that ends today. Your life is not over. It's evolving. And this evolution isn't about isolation. It's about liberation. So if this message touches something deep inside you, don't scroll away. Click subscribe. Hit the bell. This space exists for people like you, for the brave, the honest, the quietly powerful. You don't need a circle of friends to validate your life. You just need the courage to live it on your own terms. Up next, we'll explore the power of emotional clarity and why, after 70, saying no becomes the most healing word in your vocabulary. There's a word you've probably used your whole life, but rarely for yourself. A word so small, so simple, and yet so freeing. No. Just 2 letters. But when spoken with clarity, it becomes a boundary, a shield, a declaration that says, I choose me. In your younger years, saying no often came with guilt. You said yes to events you didn't want to attend. Yes to people who took more than they gave. Yes to conversations that left you tired, not better. Because you were raised to be polite, to avoid conflict, to put others before yourself. But now you understand something deeper. Every time you say yes to what drains you, you say no to your peace. And after 70, peace is no longer optional. It's essential. It's the space you protect with the wisdom you've earned. It's the gentle refusal to let someone's chaos become your responsibility. It's the calm certainty of choosing what feels good to your soul, not what looks good to others. You are not obligated to explain why you didn't reply to that message. You don't owe anyone your presence at gatherings that leave you feeling invisible. You don't have to justify your need for space, rest, or silence. Your no is not a rejection. It's a redirection, back to what truly matters. Because here's what no one told you in your 40s or 50s. Every yes costs something. Your energy, your time, your spirit. And not every friendship, not every favor, not every invitation is worth that price. So instead of saying yes because it's easier, start saying no because it's honest. No, I can't make it. No, that doesn't feel right. No, I need time for myself. Each no makes room for a deeper yes. Yes to mornings with no agenda. Yes to people who respect your time. Yes to the things that make your heart feel light again. Ask yourself, when was the last time you said no and felt empowered instead of guilty? When did you last protect your energy like it mattered? Because it does matter. More than ever. Your time now is sacred, not because it's running out, but because you've finally realized how precious it is. If this resonates with you, let us know in the comments. Share a time you said no and found peace. You'll be surprised how many people are walking this same path of rediscovery. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Join this community of honest voices and courageous hearts. We speak the truths no one else will, because after 60, you deserve nothing less than honesty and dignity. Coming next, we'll talk about how your best relationship at this stage may not be with another person, but with your own self, and why that realization can transform how you experience every single day. There's a moment, often quiet, almost unnoticed, when you realize you are the one who's been with you all along. Through every celebration and disappointment, every hospital visit, funeral, and forgotten birthday, every time someone walked away, broke your trust, or simply didn't show up, you remained. And while the world praised romantic love, friendships, community, no one ever taught you how to fall in love with your own company. Until now. Because after 70, the most powerful relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. And here's the beautiful truth. It's never too late to become your own safest place. To speak to yourself with kindness, not criticism. To forgive yourself for choices you made with a younger heart. To listen, really listen, to what you want, not what others want for you. You've spent so many years focused outward, caring for children, spouses, friends, co-workers. Now it's time to turn inward. Not in sadness, not in isolation, but in reverence. Because you are not just what's left after others have gone. You are a whole world of memory, strength, humor, pain, and grace. And when you begin treating yourself like the sacred being you are, you stop begging for scraps of love. You stop chasing people who've already walked away. You stop apologizing for taking up space. Instead, you wake up and ask, what would make me feel alive today? A slow cup of coffee, a quiet walk under the trees, a book that stirs something deep, a nap, because you deserve rest without guilt. You begin to realize that peace doesn't come from being surrounded by people. It comes from being at home in your own skin. And if friends come along who celebrate that with you, wonderful. But if they don't, you're still whole. Because your joy is no longer dependent on who calls, who visits, or who remembers your birthday. It's rooted in something deeper, your own self-respect. So ask yourself gently, have I been a good friend to myself? If not, today is a perfect day to begin. Tell yourself, I deserve my own love. I deserve to choose what fills me. I am not lonely. I am with someone who finally listens to me. And if this truth resonates, don't just nod silently. Click subscribe. Leave a comment. This is your space, your community, and your reminder that you are never truly alone when you stand in your own love. Up next, we'll wrap it all together with a conclusion that reminds you why this journey inward isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your most powerful chapter yet. If you've stayed with me through this entire video, then something in your spirit is stirring. Maybe you've been holding on to friendships out of habit, not love. Maybe you've spent years saying yes when your heart whispered no. Maybe you've been surrounded by people and still felt unseen. But now you see the truth. You don't need friends to be whole. You don't need invitations to feel included. You don't need constant company to live a full, meaningful, joyful life. Because what you truly need is already within you. your wisdom, your calm, your freedom to choose peace over pressure, solitude over noise, depth over performance. This isn't loneliness. This is your return to your values, to your needs, to yourself. You are not an empty chair at someone's table. You are the table, steady, rooted, and built from a lifetime of experience no one else can replicate. And if friends do come along who honor your growth, your boundaries, your energy, let them in. But do it on your terms. Not from fear, not from desperation, but from strength. Because that's what you carry now, strength not in numbers, but in knowing. Knowing that your worth doesn't depend on being invited, remembered, or needed. It depends on how deeply you value your own presence. So let me say it one final time. You don't need friends after 70. You need truth. You need peace. You need you. That's not selfish. That's sacred. If this message spoke to you, even a little, leave a comment. Share one thing you're letting go of this year, or one way you're reclaiming your time, your space, your energy. Because when one voice speaks, others find their courage too. Subscribe if you haven't yet. This isn't just a channel, it's a sanctuary, a place where we speak the unspoken, where aging isn't a decline, but a becoming. You are not disappearing. You are coming into focus, finally, fully, freely. And that, my friend, is something no friendship could ever replace. Until next time, take care of you. Not because anyone else tells you to, but because you've finally realized you're worth it.